Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the absolutely magnificent new Liberators. Yes, from the Skaventide box, which Games Workshop have very kindly sent me early to build up and paint for all of you, and well, for me of course, because, well, I just love Stormcast, so new Stormcast is always a good thing in my eyes. So, today we're going to be painting up these 5 in the colours of the Hallowed Knights, and well, they've all been primed in grey Seer, and the colour we're going to be using first is Grey Knights Steel, and we're going to be applying this over the top of all of their armour. Now there's a couple of bits that we're not going to apply this over, such as any kind of trim, because the Liberators have had a glow up, so too have the basic troops kind of gear. So rather than that kind of more traditional thing that we've seen in the past from Hallowed Knights colour schemes, like on the Vindictors where they didn't have gold trim, these guys do, which is exciting. So we're going to be applying this all over the top of all of this, and then once all that's done we'll come back. I'm going to do this across all 5, and if you're painting up your entire box in the same colour, you can do this across all 10.
And whilst we're applying all of that Grey Knight Steel, it's a good time to tell you about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Serious Readers. I love these HD lights from Serious Readers, and I'm excited to tell you about them once more because these things are top tier. Seriously. The HD lights utilize proprietary daylight wavelength technology, which replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible, which makes a big difference on your eyes and your eye health. They come in floor-sized packages and table-sized lights, but you can also select the Gemini option, which gives you not 1 but 2 light engines on separate flexible arms, giving you optimal coverage of your painting space, or a light source to share with someone else. People who see together, hobby together. That's the saying, right? They're hand built right here in the UK in their factory in Aylesbury, whilst pioneering research into improving sight through shedding better light, relying on replicating the natural daylight spectrum that our eyes have evolved to use. They offer a 5-year warranty and are recommended by over 500 independent opticians. They've got excellent customer service too, as when I asked for a colder bulb, they sent me one, along with a diffuser. Check out Serious Readers today, and if you pick one up and use offer code JOSH24, you can get £100 off high definition lights and free UK delivery. Check out the links below. And now, throughout July and August 2024, you can win a HD light by checking out the competition link in the description. This competition is only open to UK residents and terms and conditions apply. Check it out and good luck.
So with all that Grey Knight Steel applied, what we're then going to do is we're actually going to change the recipe that we normally do here for Hallowed Knights, because we want to add a little bit more grit, a little bit more determination, a little bit more passion, more energy, more footwork. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some black Templar. I'm going to thin it down with like 5 or 6 parts Lahmian Medium. You could try and use Nuln Oil, but it's a little weak for what we want. So we're going to take that black Templar and thin it down with all that Lahmian Medium, and then we're going to apply this over the top. Now we don't need a really heavy coat here. We're just looking to add a little element of kind of slightly darker shading in there than we would normally get with our Space Wolves grey. Yeah, times have been tough for the Liberators. They're not quite ruination chamber levels yet, which is why this guy is going to be considerably brighter than our ruination chamber stuff. We still want to kind of create a little bridge between this and the rest of the warrior chamber, as it were. So with that shading now applied, we can move on and do the rest of the colours. So the colour we're going to be using next is Black Legion. And we're going to be applying this over essentially 3 different areas. First one is going to be all of the soft clothing. So in the gaps and on the boots. Like this sort of thing. Like that. And then we've got a gap. I should call it a joint, really. Like so. The second area we're going to apply this over the top of is the scabbard. Like so. And then the third area is going to be the inside of the shield. So with that Black Legion all applied, we're then going to take some Cygor Brown and we're going to apply this over the top of all the belts and straps. So with all that Cygor Brown applied, we're then going to take some Talassar Blue. And we're going to apply this over the top of the areas that are going to be, well, blue. So this is going to be the shoulders and the shield facings. So we start up there like that. And then we just take this a half at a time with the Talassar Blue. Come down here. Like so. Like that. And then across the shoulders. we do basically the same thing. So with that Talassar Blue all applied, we're then going to take Ultramarines Blue. I'm going to apply this over the top. So with that blue all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over the top of the helmet plume and the grips of all the weapons. So with that done, our next colour is going to be another kind of new arrival in the scheme, which is going to be some thinned down Runelord Brass. And we're going to apply this over top of the scale mail. Now traditionally, we would paint this in with the gold as well, but they've gone for a slightly dirtier version of that more traditional look now. So we're going to change our recipe here by having some Runelord Brass. And one thing I should point out is in the interval, what we've also done is we've applied the Grey Knight Steel and the thinned down Black Templar over the top of the Gorget, because, and this is true, it's important to look at the pictures properly. So with that Runelord Brass all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour and we're going to apply this over top of quite a few different details. So we've got all of the trim on the shields, scabbards, the armour, we've got the decorations, and the hammer, but another kind of new thing for the Hallowed Knights, we're also going to be applying this over the top of the shield facing. So with that now done, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of any parchment. So with that done, we're then going to take some thinned down Iron Hand Steel and we're going to apply this over top of all of the remaining metallic details. So with that Iron Hand steel applied, it's now time to add some shades to the model. So the first one of these is going to be yet another change to the Hallowed Knights, in that we're going to use Guilliman Flesh, because we don't want it to actually be as strong a shading on the gold as we would normally do in the older scheme. So I'm going to apply this over top of all of the gold details. Just like that sort of thing. However, in addition to this, we're also going to apply Guilliman Flesh over the top of the face of our Liberator just here. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade all the silver, the black scabbard, and all the Runelord Brass. And by all the silver, I mean the stuff we did with Iron Hands steel, not all of the silver. I should also point out as well, just remembering, we're also going to apply this Nuln Oil over the top of the white details, specifically this one on the shoulder. It's the only one that's got any real texture to it. So with that done, our Liberators are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. And they're looking pretty cool. However, we're not going to leave them there. No, we're going to take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some highlights and some layers. So the first of these is going to be a layer. And the colour we're going to be using first, and this is where we return to our usual recipe, is we're going to be taking some thinned down Iron Hand steel. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all the armour. Now we're going to avoid any recesses. We're going to thin it down just a little bit more than we would normally, so it just kind of maintains some of that undercoat. But ultimately what we want to do is we want to make it nice and shiny like that on that knee. Now we're only looking to do this over the top of, as I say, the armour, but similarly we're also only going to look to do this over the top of the large wide open spaces. So this is going to be things like the chest, the helmet, the legs, the arm plates, etc. Anywhere where it's kind of trim adjacent or whatnot, for example the gorget, we're not going to be reapplying this. I just want to come at it like this. In fact, on the gorget we probably can actually just add a little bit like that on the front. On the back we won't be able to, there's not enough room. So with all that Iron Hand steel reapplied, well, layered on, what we're going to do similarly is we're going to take some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to use this over the top of the lightning designs on the shield and on our Liberator's shoulders. Although this guy doesn't have one, because he's a fancy prime. And so with that done, we've got one last relayer to do, which is going to be some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're basically using this just on the shields. So we're going to apply this over the top of the trim, just avoiding any of those recesses once again. So I'm just going to bring it round like this. Like that sort of thing. We're also going to go around the outside edge like that. However, we're also going to use this over the top of kind of wide open places on the shield face. Like that, and then similarly on the prime shoulder. So with all those relayers now applied, it is time to start highlighting up proper. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking some thinned down Stormhost Silver, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the silver, including the weapons. So with all that Stormhost Silver applied, we're then going to take a mix of 2 parts Stormhost Silver to 1 part Retributor Armour. I'm going to use this to highlight all the gold. In addition to all the gold, we're also going to use this to highlight our Runelord Brass skirts. So with all of those metallics now highlighted, it's always crazy to me how much that absolutely elevates it, but what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the last set of couple of bits of highlighting. So the colour we're going to be using next is some thinned down Hoeth Blue. I'm going to be using this to highlight all the blue details. Just like that. And so with that then done, we want to take some thinned down white scar. I'm going to use this to highlight all of those white details. So with that now done, we're actually going to finish off most of the Liberators here by taking some Blood Angels Red. I'm going to apply this over top of all the little gems. There's one there on the shield. There's one down here. Like that. Then we have the two on the hammers. And a tiny little one on the shoulder. So we're not quite finished with the Liberators because we do have this individual's hair and face to do. So what we're going to do, we originally painted it with Black Legion, so we're going to highlight the hair using some thinned down Dawnstone. So with that Dawnstone applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight the face. So with that done, we're then going to take a tiny amount of Black Legion and we're going to apply this over the top of the eyeballs. And with that done, we're then going to take a tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. I'm going to apply this in the corners of the eyes. And so with our bases now complete, our Hallowed Knights Liberators are now finished. And well, it's been a hell of a journey, but we're finally here with new Liberators that really just kind of fit what
the aesthetic of the Stormcast have actually been going the last edition or so, and I really like them. I think they look absolutely fantastic, just like the Vindictors. The Vindictors look amazing, these look amazing, and I'm really happy with them, and I really like that slightly updated scheme.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.